I want to, for one picture, I want to be there. Is it okay if I be there during the class for one picture?
You can come, you can take from here, not from there. After I end the class, you can take from there. You can take from here, okay? Or from there.
No, I tried to frame there. I'll take from here. It's not happening because of the picture, photo frame.
The photo frame, okay. Abhi nahi. You take it at 12 o'clock. You sit here only somewhere. Yahi बैठ जा. Oh, something happened. What happened to all these people? What have you done to them? Good. So the picture will be during the class around noon, so that nobody is self-conscious, okay? Just be yourself and listen. No need to pose, no need to do that, okay? Everybody looks great. Yeah. Om Sadashivasamharambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. We said Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthagya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudramarudaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Narayanav Paro Vyaktat Andamavyaya Sambhavam Andasyantastvime Lokaha Saptadvipa cha Medini. Who sits over there behind Victoria? Oh, Giri is not here. Okay, he doesn't come to this class, right? Okay, so somebody has to fill in, and there is 2 other places in the back. Somebody can fill in. Just for 1 hour, that's all. Come here. Somebody come there, that's good. Just bring your chair here if you need a chair. You sit here so that coming all the way, you will not this thing. So we have been looking at the arguments, various arguments for the verse here. And which verse is that? Quick. 21st verse, and a little bit of a, and what is that verse? Let us chant the verse so we remember it. Veda vinashinam nityam yaena madam avyayam katham shapurushah partha kanghatayati hantikam. That will come little later, next one. So, we saw up till now that the objection is centered on 2 things. One is the Purva Pakshi not being terribly bright, they never are, and they are not bright. Why are they not bright? Because they have some problem. What is the problem? They don't understand that the knower of Brahman is Brahman. They don't understand that. The knower of Brahman is non-separate from Brahman. They don't understand. So they are thinking that this knowledge of Brahman is there, and then because this knowledge of Brahman is there, how is knowing Brahman as unmoving, sthanuhu, stationary, ajalaha, nityaha, sanatanaha, how is that going to help me? Because the pillar is also stationary, the rock is also unmoving. So if Brahman is a rock, how will it help the knower of Brahman? This is what the first contention is, and we saw there are some sub-contentions in there, and that is the first kind of a problem the Purva Pakshi has. Then the second problem this Purva Pakshi has, or another Purva Pakshi, we don't know, one of their relatives perhaps, and the second problem is that one should always keep on doing. And to hear this is actually a radical verse. We don't understand this, especially in the current context. But in the context of Vaidika Dharma, where the Veda is talked about, and Veda means you have to keep doing the enjoined karmas, to talk about akartritvam, that the Atma, oneself, that the truth of oneself is what? Atma is akarta, abhokta, not the agent of action, not a recipient of other people's action either, is actually a very radical thing. Even now it's radical. But in those days, because people were very much within the framework of the Veda, it's not easy to give up something you have been doing. Think about anything. So, 2 weeks you are on one seva, right? After that, next time, horror of horrors, you have been reassigned to something else. Okay? And then The first few days there is a kind of a discombobulation. I was doing that and then now this. Let me make sure that the other people are doing this properly. They don't know anything. So like this, that feeling may be there. So it's very difficult to give up what one is doing, even in the face of understanding that the nature of the Atma is a non-agent and nor is it done by other people's doings. It's very, very difficult to give up. And so, because of this, what happens is that the Purva Pakshi becomes very stubborn and digs in the heels and finds some way or the other to make sure that along with knowledge, the doership is still kept intact for the I. I know everything, but then if I know I am everything, if I have Sarvatma Bhava, I know that I am everything, then what happens? Then there is no reason to do anything. Why is there no reason to do anything? Because there is a sense of fulfillment. I have no needs, I have no desires, I am everything I know. What about the needs of the body? That will get fulfilled somehow or the other. The needs of the body are not so paramount because it will be fulfilled. And so, because even the birds make their nests, even the birds find the berries and the fruits and everything. Without a PhD, they manage to do all this. So what to talk of this self-conscious jiva, fully self-conscious? And so therefore, there is no panic that I'm not going to get this and I have to have this. This is not there. But the Purva Pakshi doesn't understand that, because the Purva Pakshi is coming from a place of doership and is afraid that if and when the doing stops, what will happen? There will be terrible repercussions. The repercussions will be of two kinds. God will be upset. God will be upset. Why will God be upset? Please tell me. Because you are doing Abhisheka, you are doing Puja, you are doing Yajna. If in the Vedic time there was no Puja, the Puja was in the form of Yajna. So the Yajna will be stopped? No, we conclude it very properly. We do the final oblations and the final Yajna to all the Devatas, take their permission. Oh, all this is just, you can tell yourself you are taking permission. But you don't know whether God will be angry or not. God will be angry. This is one kind of a fear. The other thing is some kind of a desperate measure to, some kind of a desperate feeling that if you cannot be without action. If you are without action, and then not just you, the whole society decides to study Vedanta, many times we have this satsang question. Everybody gets moksha, what will happen? Don't worry. First of all, everybody will not get moksha, A. And B, if everybody gets moksha, the world will run even more smoothly. Why? Because whatever we do, we will be doing objectively, happily, freely, rather than driven by raga and dveshas. This, the Purva Pakshi, as I told you, not terribly bright, does not understand, cannot understand. And so therefore, the Purva Pakshi comes from a school of thought called Purva Mimamsaka. Purva Mimamsaka means the person who is just adoring and worshipping the first portion of the Veda. And what is the first portion of the Veda? Karma. That's all. So you put actions on the altar, you put yajna on the altar and worship it for life after life after life. And then because they will take some, we saw this already, they will take some statements such as what? Yavat jivet agnihotram juhuyat. As long as one lives, may one do agnihotra. But then they don't understand this, as long as one lives and as long as one is ignorant, both goes together. They don't see that the both of them go together. And then, so therefore what? So therefore the Purva Pakshi digs in the heels and says the Atma must, the person of knowledge cannot be exempt from action and therefore must always be acting. The acting and the action must never ever 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 stop. So the first portion of the objection, which was namely the sameness of the Atma with the knower of the Atma, was not understood. Now we are moving into the second set of objections, all centering around Atma being Karta or Akarta. The Purva Pakshi insisting that even after knowledge, karma should not stop, karma should continue. What kind of karma? The karma, the actions based on desperation, the actions based on injunctions, the actions based on prohibitions. These kinds of actions must always continue. This is the contention. Let us see. Okay, then he says, yeah, this we saw. Now, where are we? 75, I think. Huh? Oh, 75 we have done? Yes, end of 75 we have done. Yeah. So, vidusho mumukshoho cha sannyasa karma sannyase eva adhikarah. And again, he thinks that 76 also we have done. Two kinds of paths have been talked about, and Shruti and Puranic things, what is that? Support was already given. And then here at the beginning of page 77, this is a very interesting objection. Tatra kechit panditam manyaha vadanti. Some people who are self-styled pandit. Panditam manyaha means they themselves think of themselves as pandits. Nobody has crowned them as a pandit. Okay? Yeah. What do they think? Aham panditaha iti manyamanaha. These people, swayam panditam manyaha vadanti. What do they say? Janmadi shadbhava kriya rahitaha avikriyaha akarta ekaha aham atma iti na kasyachid jnanam utpadyate. This kind of a knowledge that I am free of birth, death and all the other vikaras, shadbhava kriya vikara rahitaha. Kriya rahitaha means free of all action, avikriyaha, free of all modifications, akarta, a non-doer, ekaha, and this non-dually one Atma I am, iti, in this manner, this knowledge, nakasyachit jnanam utpadyate. No one can get this knowledge. Great. It sounds like a very hopeless Purva Pakshi. Is in need of psychotherapy? Yeah, these are the people who become Purva Pakshis. A very subjective rendition. Why? This Panditam Manyaha, or self-styled Pandit, what did he do or what did she do? Tried to study Vedanta, nothing would go in, and therefore made this pronouncement. No one can get this knowledge. Why? Because I didn't get it. And I consider myself what? Pandit. I consider myself a Pandit. I am knowledgeable. I should have got this knowledge. If I can't get it, no one can get it. It's not a statement of hopelessness. It's a statement of delusions of grandeur. Yeah. Because I am the litmus test. I am bright. And I am a Pandit, self-styled no doubt, but I am a Pandit. If I didn't get it, kasyachitapi, for anyone, na utpadyate. This kind of a knowledge can never be got, never be had. And then further he says, yasmin sati sarva karma sanyasaha upadishyate. And then so this knowledge cannot come to anybody, and so then the freedom from being tethered to karma must be imparted when? Only when such a knowledge arises, then you can say, oh, you have understood, you are not an agent, all right, you can be exempt from karma. But this cannot happen at all. Why? Because you will never know this knowledge. Yeah, thank you for the optimistic pronouncement, declaration. And then Adi Shankara doesn't even engage. He says, Na. Na means what? No. Why? Na jayate na mriyate va kadachiti iti shastra upadesha anarthakyat. Otherwise, the whole Gita Shastra will be of no use. The Gita Shastra, which is a Moksha Shastra, which is revealing the I to be free of action, to be free of results of action, to be free of Papa, Punya, Dharma, Adharma, Vikriya, all these things will be of no use. What should we do with a manuscript upon which is written the whole Bhagavad Gita? Give it to the goats to assimilate. Aja bhakshitam, it will become assimilated by the goats, goat food. Why? Because it is not for anybody. So this is useless, because first of all, if this knowledge cannot come at all, and somehow if this knowledge comes and only then I should be told that I am not a doer, of what use is this knowledge that tells me I am a doer? Adi Shankara says that. Then, after briefly talking about this, he goes a little more in length, in depth. Yathacha Shastra Upadesha Samarthyat Dharma Astitva Vijnanam Kartuhu cha Vedanta Dehantara Sambandhi Jnanam cha Utpadyate. See, he is talking his own language. Just as you concede one thing, like studying the first portion of the Veda, what does it give you? The ability to act in concert with Dharma. That is what it gives you, does it not? Yes. So you accept that the first portion of the Veda is useful in making me do what I am supposed to do and in stopping me from doing what I am not supposed to do. Do you agree? And the not terribly bright Purva Pakshi says, yeah. Then, if you agree with that, the whole thing is what? Veda only. Then why not the second portion of the Veda tell you in the same way that as soon as you gain this knowledge, the desire to do a kind of a desire to do based on some kind of a compunction, a certain kind of a compelling and a certain kind of a pressure just drops. Why can't the second portion of the Veda tell you that? Why can't this knowledge arise? First portion of the Veda, exposing yourself to the first portion of the Veda, what did it give you? The knowledge of Dharma, knowledge of Karma. So after being with the first portion of the Veda, what did you get? Karma and Dharma knowledge arose in your heart. Did it not? Yes. So in the same way, exposure to Vedanta, why can't it give this knowledge that you are not a Karta? Purva Pakshi doesn't know where to look now. Okay. So then, Tatha Shastra Tasya Eva Atmanah Avikriyatva Akartritva Ekatvadi Vijnanam Kasmat na Utpadyate iti Prashtavyaha. Whoever objects must be asked this. In the same manner, just like the birth of the knowledge of Dharma took place while studying the first portion of the Veda, similarly, the birth of the knowledge that I am not an agent should take place in the other one. And then he says, oh, I have a reason for that. Purva Pakshi does not back down. Does not back down. Very, very stubborn. Because the thinking is like that, and it's a very complex thinking. The thinking is karma should not be dropped in under any circumstances whatsoever. And so what is the thing? Karana agocharatvat iti chet. What if this knowledge doesn't come because, to use your own words, I will use your own arsenal against you. So what is it that you Vedantins say? Atma cannot be seen. Atma is not an object of hearing. Atma is not is not available for any of the pramanas. Atma is not available for pratyaksha pramana. It cannot be seen. Karana means all these antahkarana, various ways of knowing. Agocharatvat, because it is not available, that is why it is not known. Dharma is available for the five sense organs, karma is available for the five sense organs. So somebody studying the first portion of the Veda knows this. Somebody studying the second portion of the Veda is all mystified, because this knowledge is not to be had by what? By the eyes. This knowledge cannot be had by the ears. This knowledge cannot be had by this, that. So you yourself put yourself in the mess. When you said Atmanaha Karana Agocharatvam Asti, Agocharatvam means not a topic. So the status of the Atma being such that it is not a subject matter for the five sense organs, that's why you don't know. That's why this knowledge is not possible. Yay! One goal for the Purva Pakshi side. Yes? No. Wait till Adi Shankara biffs him. Okay? Na manasa eva anudrashtavyam. Manasa eva idam aptavyam. The first one he quotes from the Birhadaranyaka. Second one I am quoting from the Kathopanishad, because you have studied that. Manasa eva idam aptavyam asti iti upalabhyate. All this we have studied in the Kathopanishad. And manasa eva anudrashtavyam means that this is, it's not true that it is away from, it is out of reach of the mind, you cannot say. If it is out of reach of the mind, true, this knowledge can never be known, never be understood, never be had. But since it is within the reach of the mind means what? The mind is a receptacle where the knowledge takes place. A prepared receptacle is necessary for this knowledge, and a samskrita buddhi, a prepared mind, a prepared buddhi alone is what is going to clinch this knowledge. And so therefore all these words of the Shastra, how to prepare the mind, etc., cannot go waste. So Mr. Purva Pakshi, please pack your bags, Adi Shankara says. Okay? And then Shastra Acharya Upadesha Shamadamadi Samskritam Manaha Atmadarshane Karanam. So the mind is a Karana, but not in the way that you think. The Karana means what? As is an instrument. The mind is an instrument. It's not the agent of this knowledge. The mind is not a direct instrument of this knowledge. It is a receptacle where the knowledge takes place. What kind of the mind? That mind which is combed, tamed, tranquilized by the Shastra, by the Acharya, the teachings of the Shastra, handled by the Acharya, and then also prepared by Shamadama, etc. Shamadamadi Samskritam. Samskritam means it should also be studying Sanskrit, the mind. Samskritam, I just thought I'll get that in, okay? Yeah. Samskritam means well-groomed mind, civilized mind, from where all the bestial instincts have been calmed, all the reactivity has gone, okay? Yeah, it doesn't hurt to study Sanskritam, but that's not what it means here. So the mind that is purified, Sanskritam means purified from the Ragadveshas by the instructions of the Shastra, handled by the teacher, and then again with the presence of Shamadama, etc., becomes an instrument, a receptacle for the understanding of the I. तथा च तद अधिगमाय अनुमाने आगमे च सति ज्ञानं न उपपद्यते इति साहसम एतत्. Sahasam etat means now Adi Shankara is fed up of this Purva Pakshi. Totally fed up, because he is not giving, he or she is not letting go. keeping on coming up with one or the other nonsensical, what is that called? Nonsensical arguments. So he says this is how the mind is prepared. The Shastra, true, is a means of knowledge in its own right. And further, we have Upama, other means of knowledge which are used along with the Shastra, like Yukti. Yukti means logic. Shruti Anukula Yukti. The Anumana, which is in keeping with the Shruti, is deployed, and then all this cannot go to waste. And for someone to sit there and say, this knowledge cannot happen, is sahasam, means dussahasam. Sahasam means bravery. Dussahasam, here it's used sarcastically. Dussahasam means, look at how they dare to do this. This is a daredevilry on anybody's part to suggest that this knowledge cannot take place. This is a completely outlandish statement. Somebody who dares to do this. And so he says, Jnanam cha utpadyamanam tad viparitam ajnanam avashyam badhate iti abhyupagantavyam. Abhyupagantavyam, it has to be understood as what? That when the knowledge comes, its opposite. What is the opposite of knowledge? Ajnanam, ignorance. When the knowledge rises, the sleep of ignorance completely will go away. Tatcha ajnanam darshitam. So this ajnanam was already told. Hanta chet manyate hantum. Hataschet manyate hatam. Ubhautau navijanitah. Nayam hanti na hanyate. This was already shown in the previous verse. The one who says, I am killed, the one who says, I am as good as dead, the one who says, I am the killer, both of them do not know. What do they do not know? Na ayam atma hanti. Neither can this Atma be the object of somebody else's action, nor can it be an actor of even the most heinous crimes. This was already told before. Oh, Purva Pakshi, you don't know what you're talking about. You just like to selectively parse things, and this is called splitting hairs. How difficult it is to split hairs. Think about it. So this is what the Purva Pakshi is doing, keeping on splitting hairs and then not listening to either reason or the Shastra. Taccha sarvakriyasu api samanam kartritvadehe avidya kritatvam avikriyatvad atmanah vikriyavan hi karta atmanah karmabhutam anyam prayojayati kuru iti. So now the act of doing which is attributed to the who? Atma, I, is due to self-ignorance. He is summing it up, or he is trying to anyway. The act of doing attributed to the Atma, in other words, when I consider myself as a doer, it is why? Because of my ignorance of the nature of the Atma. When I consider myself done in by various other things, it is why? Because of the ignorance of the nature of the Atma. I am neither the doer nor the done in. If I think otherwise, it's due to self-ignorance. And so, tad etat avisheshena vidushah sarvakriyasu kartritvam hetu kartritvam cha pratishedhati Bhagavad. Therefore, the Lord has no compromise here and fully and categorically denied for the person of knowledge to be either the actor nor the object of other people's action. Pratishedhati Bhagavan. Vidushah karma adhikara abhava pradarsanartham. So this whole verse is to show that for the Vidusha, for the Jnani, there is no, what is that called? Injunction. There are no injunction. Vidhi is not there. No one can tell the Jnani, come on, do Agnihotra. It's of no use to tell the Jnani that, because the Jnani is reveling in his or her own self, and the Jnani is least bothered about going to lokas, least bothered about punya, least bothered about any other Eshana. The three Eshanas we talked about, Putraishana, Vittaishana, what else? Lokaishana, not there. So therefore, if you don't have to get anything, you don't have to do anything to get it. That's all it is. You are exempt from doing. Why? Because that doing is not of any purpose to you. You don't have anything to gain. If you do something, it is for helping other people, that's different. If you do something, you will be there, because see, you cannot say that, oh, the Jnani is just going to sit and stare at the ceiling. That also, that's why many people say, I don't want Atma Jnanam because I want to continue doing. I don't want Atma Jnanam. But this is not a proper understanding of Atma Jnanam. Doing itself is the hallmark. It's not the doing is the hallmark. It is the compulsion to do that is the hallmark. Most of the people who are ajnanis do out of a sense of compulsion, either wanting to get something, wanting to get rid of something, wanting to protect something. Some other impetus is there. Here, that is not the issue at all. The Jnani is free to do, free not to do. That is the idea. Is Adi Shankara Jnani or not? Yes. But yet we find him doing so many things in his short life of 32 years, which was supposed to be only 16 years. The other 16 years, for 4 years, each of his disciples gave. That's how it became 32. 11 Bhashyas for 10 Upanishads. One Upanishad has 2 Bhashyas. Which one is that? Kena Upanishad. Very good. So, 11 Bhashyas, Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, you can see how elaborate this is. We are having a little appetizer of this. And then, what else? Brahma Sutra Bhashya, plus various works, shlokas. Okay, he was also not a nerd. You know what a nerd is? Nerd means the one who has no social skills, sits in one place and just keeps on. You know, Adi Shankara on his iPad or laptop, just, belting out Bhashya. No. He was very much, he went and talked to the people. He talked to the people about the futility of just doing karma. He talked about how karma is important as a preparation, manas shuddhi, antahkarana shuddhi. It's an instrument of antahkarana shuddhi, and there is a higher vantage point for you to see. Other than Agnihotra, other than all the kamya karmas, there is a better vantage point. He travelled the length and breadth of all of India more than once. Established temples so that people could at least go from the place of discipline and puja, wherever they were, they could just connect to Bhagavan. Established temples, gave a lot of talks, and they defeated people, would solicit debates and defeat the people, showing the futility of this kind of a non-thinking. All this, if he did, then that must mean, according to this Purva Pakshi, he is not a Jnani. He is a Jnani, but he still did all this. Why did he do that? Freely he did. And our own Pujya Swamiji, when we see, so much he did. So much he did. Never for a moment he was sitting still, but it was not out of a sense of compulsion. Not at all. It was for what is called Loka Sangraha, for the benefit of the people. Out of compassion, the Jnani sees what is wrong objectively and tries to correct it to the extent that she or he can. And so, this is the whole idea he is saying. The Lord said that for the Jnani, there is no compulsion to do anything. Kim punah, kaf punaha, no, not kaf. Kva punaha vidushaha adhikarah iti etad uktam purvam eva iti. If supposing someone were to ask, what is, what else will the enlightened person do? What else will a jnani do? The answer is jnana yoga. They will teach, they will write, they will revel in their own teaching, in their own knowledge. They will revel. These are the things that the jnani is supposed to do. And then the Purva Pakshi is not, so he says something. Adi Shankara quotes. So, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Tathacha Sarvakarma Sannyasam Vakshati. The Gita is going to tell later on the ability to renounce all actions in the words, such as the 5th chapter, 13th verse. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya aste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakaryan. Very beautiful verse. It comes at the end of this. What is that? There is one set of verses. Pashyan, Shrinvan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Grinhan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Api. Seeing, eating, drinking, walking, sleeping, breathing, whatever the person is doing, this karma does not attach to the doer. There is no doer. That's why the Atma is free of doership. So this karma does not attach to the Atma. Navadvare pure dehi. So the master of the 9-gated citadel, which is that? The body. This body, mind, sense complex, sukham aste, remains happily without doing anything. Naiva kurvan, without doing anything. And then naiva karayan, without causing anything to be done either. That means what? The Atma is free of doership. The Atma is free of being done in by other people's doings. And so this has to be understood, the Atma has to be understood as I. Is the Purva Pakshi happy? No. Purva Pakshi catches hold only of one word. This kind of a funnel thinking. How the horse, they put these, what is that called? Blinkers, whatever it is, blinders, whatever it's called. So that it doesn't look to the left, it doesn't look to the right. It's kind of a funnel thinking. Funnel thinking means, funnel thinking is no fun. That's what it means. Because you are only looking at one particular, you catch hold of one particular thing. So he catches hold of verse 13 in the 5th chapter, which was just a quotation to give the whole argument. Sarvakarmani manasa sanyasya. Mentally having given up the karma. Aha! Not physically. How to give up the karma? Mentally. That means you keep doing the karma. Mentally you say, I'm not doing it. And so that is what this Purva Pakshi is going to go towards. Let us see this. Nanu manasa iti vachanat na vachikanam kayikanam cha sannyasah iti chet. What if the use of the word mentally, what does it show? One need not renounce physical karma or what kind of karma? Verbal karma. So you can continue to do puja and bhajans. You just drop meditation. Don't come at 7 o'clock from tomorrow. Drop meditation and then do what? Puja you can do. Why? Because sarva karmani manasa sanyasya, giving up mentally. So mental karma you give up, but physical karma you do, and then you can sing bhajans, because that is what? Verbal karma. Karmas are of 3 kinds: physical, mental and verbal. So those 2 you can do, no problem. Na, a very weary Adi Shankara by this time says, na sarva karmani iti visheshanat. First of all, you are picking at some argument, some small verse that I quoted. You're not picking the point, you're picking up at the verse. But even then you have not heard the verse. Sarva karmani iti purva visheshanat, because there is a qualifying term. What is the term? All the actions have to be given up mentally, not just mental actions, okay? Oh, says the Purva Pakshi. Then he says, what does he say? He or she says, Manasanam eva sarva karmanam iti chet. So does the all, maybe it means all of the mental actions have to be given up. Now what do we feel like telling this Purva Pakshi? It is you who is mental and I feel like giving you up. Okay, that's what we feel like telling him, telling this fellow, because won't let go. Really, you have to admire the tenacity of this person. 4 pages has continued. And so he says, yeah, first only mental karmas should be given up. So the person should continue doing physical karma, verbal karma. No, all the karmas. Aha, you said all the karmas. Okay, all the mental karmas should be given up. And Adi Shankara is going, gritting the teeth. Na. And he gives a beautiful, what is that? Beautiful repartee. Manovyapara purvakatvat vak kaya vyaparanam manovyapara abhave tad anupapattehe. Silly fellow, don't you understand that even if we go with your argument, what is your argument? Only mental activity has to be given up. Physical activity has to be done. Verbal activity has to be done. Otherwise Veda will be angry. God will be angry. Stupid fellow. Don't you see that every karma originates where? In the mind. Only see, when you think of doing puja also, where is the thought occurring? It's not occurring out there. It is occurring out in here. So even if we take your interpretation that, okay, the Bhagavad Gita says only mental karmas should be given up, the physical karma, the verbal karma, where does it originate? It originates in your mind, like all these stupid ideas which are also originating in your mind. So this is what is happening. So very beautiful comeback. Very nice. So Vakkaya Vyaparanam, for the engagement of the bodily acts, the verbs, the verbal acts, speech, etc., it's impossible if the mind is not functioning. Okay, all right. So now, last ditch effort. What is the last ditch effort? Shastriyanam Vakkaya Karmanam Karnani Manasani Varjayitva Anyani Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasediti Chet. Okay. Fine. I agree with you. The mind has to work before the physical and speech actions have to happen. Yes. No problem. But here we should make a distinction between Vaidika Karma. What is Vaidika Karma? Religious actions. And Laukika Karma. What is Laukika Karma? Mundane actions. Vaidika Karma, sacred actions, and then Laukika Karma, non-sacred regular actions. Let's have a compromise, you and I. So, let the person give up the Laukika Karma, no problem, mental, physical, everything. Let them stop taking a bath, let them stop brushing the teeth, no problem. But they should do Agnihotra. There is no compromise with the Vaidika actions. Maybe the mentally giving up has to do with other actions in the world. Natu, not indeed this action of what? This action of giving up everything. Maybe it's only a partial giving up, because religious actions must not be given up. You know that, I know that. And Adi Shankara says, no. Why? Naiva kurvan nakarayan iti visheshanat. Because the verse is qualified, neither does nor causes to do. Nor causes to do what? Any kind of this thing, any kind of action. So what it's meant here is that so other than shastrically enjoined actions should be given up, meaning that for the shastrically enjoined actions, what can I do? Hire a proxy. It's not said here, but you have to, it is implied. Hire a proxy, and so why can't I do that? I am not doing, somebody else is doing. But here, na eva kurvan nakarayan, the verse says, neither doing nor causing one to do. Kam ghatayati hantikam. Same thing in this verse also, does not do indirectly either. And so, Purvapakshi still alive. Sarva karma sannyasah ayam bhagavata uktah marishyato nacha jivitah iti chet. All right. You know, I agree with you. At some point, all the karmas must be given up. Okay. When? For the dying person on the deathbed. The dying person on the deathbed can say, lo and behold, if of course they are not already in a coma. See, so many things should be there. They don't have dementia, they don't have coma, they are not unconscious, they are not in terrible pain, all these, and they are lucid, they are available, and not only that, they know they are dying. All these conditions should be there, and then the dying person can say, lo and behold, I am giving up all the karmas now. The Shastra agrees. But then Adi Shankara has had it with him, I think, and Adi Shankara says, nahi sarva karma sanyasena mritasya taddehe asanam sambhavati akurvatah akaryatah cha. Because what was that verse? Naiva kurvan nakarayan sukham aste, means sits happily, remains happily. Can that dying person remain happily in the body? Forget happily. Can the dying person remain in the body? Not for long. So therefore, your idea that sarva karma sannyasa, the giving up of actions as a result of this knowledge, is for the dying person, is completely wrong. One more, okay? Dehe sanyasya iti sambandha na dehe aste iti chet. Then perhaps we can say that the self preserves all the actions in the body, not that it is indwelling the body. Meaning, the self is just, the self means Atma. The Atma makes the body a receptacle of all the actions. Atma is not in the body. What is in the body? Actor. What is in the body? The one who is acted upon. What is in the body? The guilty one, having full of regrets. What is in the body? The ahankara, which says, I am done in by other people's omissions and commissions. That is what is in the body. And so therefore what? This is not, the Atma is not the indweller of the body. So the Atma can be akarta. The body has to be what? Karta. The one who is obtaining in the body is not Atma at all. It's just the ahankara. So the ahankara has to be karta. Very, very convoluted argument. And then, why? Atmanaha sarvatra avikriyatva avadharanat asanakriyayaha cha adhikarana apekshatvat tad anapekshatvat cha sannyasasya sampurvah tu nyasa shabdah iha tyagarthe na niksheparthe. Okay, this is very, very clever. So he takes the word sannyasa to mean keeping. What is the meaning of sannyasa? Giving up. Opposite. opposite here. But how did he get this meaning? How did this Purva Pakshi get this meaning? He or she got this meaning because the word nyasa means treasure, can also mean treasure, can also mean giving up. Ni plus asaha, some ni plus asaha, throwing away, giving up. And in another context, nyasaha means a treasure which has to be protected properly. In Bhasa's play, Svatmavidyananda, very beautiful play, there is a princess, there is a queen that has to be protected. Because there is a story that they make up this story, but I don't want to go into this story. Some other time we can have this story. So they make up this story that this queen is somebody who's just an ordinary lady whose husband is traveling. So she has to be protected. So this man takes this queen posing as his own sister and tells the other princess. So Vasavadatta, who is the heroine of this story, is dressed as a ordinary woman, not a queen. And then she is taken to Padmavati, the princess, who is at an ashram. Very beautiful description of the ashram and the sadhus and the swamis, swaminis, everything. Very beautiful description. And then about how the deer are coming, eating out of the hand, how the birds are perched and also meditating along with the mendicants. Very, very beautiful. Beautiful description is there. And then because of this description, there is so this queen is taken to Princess Padmavati, because Padmavati comes to the ashram. Why? In order to do dhanam. Padmavati comes to the ashram in order to do what? Dhanam. Dhanam means what? Charity. To give to the sadhus and everything. And here the minister of the previous king, what does he do? He brings this queen, and the queen is what? The queen is dressed as an ordinary woman, and he requests Princess Padmavati, please take care of her until her traveling husband returns. And so there is a Kanchukiya. Kanchukiya means the treasurer, somebody who is there. And he says, Sukhamanyam kartum bhavet dukkham nyasasya rakshanam. If you had asked me anything in the universe, I would have said yes. But difficult it is to keep a treasure. To protect a treasure is difficult. So protect means what? Protect means keep it safe. So the safekeeping of this is not possible. Safekeeping of the treasure is very difficult. So you see how the word nyasa means two things. And here the Purva Pakshi showing off what? Sanskrit abilities. Showing off the Sanskrit abilities says what? Nyasa means keeping. Sarva karma sannyasa means keeping all the karmas with the ahankara. So the Atma may be akarta, but the Atma has nothing to do with the body, mind, sense complex. So keeping everything, and Adi Shankara points that is not the idea of sannyasa is not nikshepārthe. Nikshepa means keeping something safely. What is it? Tyagarthe, giving up. You see why it is important to study Sanskrit? Yeah. That's why everybody must have Samskrita Buddhi. Yeah. So, a Buddhi that is constantly studying Sanskrit. Because if you skip a beat, then what happens? You miss it. So here it's a double entendre. What is the double entendre? Did you get it? What are the two meanings of nyasa? One to keep, one which is to keep safely, and the other one to give up. So Adi Shankara schools him. You think you know the meaning of, you know Sanskrit, but he says, no, this thing of keeping it safely does not arise. Why? Because Atmanah avikriyatva avadharanat. The Atma has already been established as what? Abhokta, akarta, and not subject to any kind of a change. Avikriyatva avadharanat. Bas, ho gaya, baith jao. Yes, enough. Plenty. Yeah, he's not satisfied, so he's going to do some more. Yeah, one last one. Okay, bas. So, because he says, asana kriyayaha cha, because the act of preserving cha adhikarana apekshatvat tad anapekshatvat cha sanyasasya sampurvatu nyasa shabdah iha tyagarthe. So the act of preserving necessitates a place. So where is this place where you are going to keep all the karma? Body cannot hold the karma, mind cannot hold the karma. Where are you going to keep all this karma? So that means it's a rhetorical question. There is no place. Because therefore this is more samni purvakasya, means the word nyasa with the upasarga means with the prefix sam and ni, means casting out, renouncing and giving up, not anything else. It just means giving up. And so tasmat, abba, finally, tasmat. I have never been so happy to hear the word therefore until now. So tasmat, therefore what? Gita Shastre, in the Gita Shastra, Atmajnanavatah, for the one who is the knower of the Atma, Sannyase eva adhikarah na karmani. The person who has the knowledge of the Atma is only fit for renouncing everything, not for doing more action. Iti tatra uparishtat. Tatra means here and there. This fact is pointed out, and we will also keep showing that. Tatra uparishtat means henceforward we will point this out. Atmajnana prakarane darshayishyama. We will keep showing this here and there whenever in any section that is relevant. But now, we will come back to the topic of the discussion. Why? Because the stupid Purva Pakshi has led us on a merry dance all over the place, talking about all kinds of things that are not pertinent. Let's come back to the topic. What is the topic? Tatra Atmanaha Avinashitvam Pratignatam. The self is not subject to destruction. Why is it not subject to destruction? Uchyate, it is said, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya Navani grinhati naroparani Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani sanyati navani dehi. Vasas means clothes. Vasas, vasasi, vasamsi. Neuter. So, vasas, clothes. So, vasamsi, clothes. Jirnani vasamsi. Jirnam, jirne, jirnani. Like phalam, phale, phalani. Jirnani means that which has, which is threadbare. Threadbare clothes, old clothes. Vasamsi jirnani yatha, just as vihaya. Ha, third conjugation to give up, plus lyap pratyaya, vihaya. having, just like one giving up, just like one gives up what? Old threadbare t-shirt. Old threadbare t-shirt, just as one gives up. Okay? What? So what? Gives up what? The old threadbare clothes. And then what does one do? Goes shopping. Lakshman Jhula, Tapovan, and then gets new clothes and puts them on happily. Happily takes off the old clothes, happily puts on the new clothes. Tatha, in the same manner one can visualize Sharirani, bodies. In the same manner, the bodies are also given up, vihaya, having given up Jirnani. Jirnani means threadbare bodies. More about this we'll discuss. Just listen to the translation. Sharirani Jirnani vihaya, giving up these useless bodies, Anyani samyati, other bodies, one navani, new bodies one takes on. Dehi, who? The indweller. Now here, who is this indweller? Atma or Jiva? Atma plus ignorance, which is equal to what? Jiva. Yeah. Atma doesn't take on any bodies. Atma doesn't do anything. It's the Jiva. Who is this Jiva? Jiva is Atma plus ignorance and Ajnana avachinna chaitanya Jivaha iti uchyate. The one that is qualified by Ajnanam. As though qualified by Ajnanam, that one, what does it do? It takes on this new body. Why? Because the Jiva has got subtle body. What is the subtle body? That which travels. What is the subtle body full of? Desires. All kinds of desires. Oh, I couldn't do this in the last life. Oh, I couldn't have that. I couldn't do this. Too sad, too bad. And then I did not taste this. I did not go there. I did not attend a play. I did not attend a dance drama. All these kinds of sorrow will be there, urgency will be there, desire will be there, and all that here is talked about very beautifully. And what is said here? That the Jiva, which is Atma plus ignorance and subtle body, etc., the whole package, that which travels takes on new bodies. This is the meaning. Now, the t-shirt analogy is easy, because if the t-shirt is torn, dirty and full of holes, holy t-shirt, okay? Yeah. So if I have a holy t-shirt is not the one that has Om or something there on it. Holy t-shirt means more holes than fabric. Then it's easy to cast it off, throw it away and put on a new one. No problem. Look forward to it. But the body is a very different thing. First of all, the t-shirt, I can take it off. Because even if it's not a t-shirt, let's say it's a shirt, I know where the buttons are. They could be on the side, like some fancy kurta buttons, they could be on the side, they could be in the back, they could be on the front. These are only a few options. I can find the buttons and release myself from this shirt and then take on a new one. But this body, where are the buttons? Tell me. Here? Behind? Side? Underneath? Where? No, it has a zipper. It's like a suit which the surfers wear. Wet suit, body suit. Okay, this body suit, where is the zipper? Where is the zip to get out of this? Here is where the analogy is a little limited. Because in the first instance, in the example, you are doing this willingly. The holy t-shirt gone, another t-shirt happily comes. In the second instance, are you doing this on your own? No. Who is doing this? Bhagavan only knows where the zipper is. You don't know where the zipper is. Bhagavan has to remove the zipper and release the jiva from this body, and then Bhagavan also gives the new body. So in the first instance of the example, there is volition, free will is there. Here also free will is there, but indirectly is there. Free will is there in terms of a whole list of things I want. And out of 10 things, I'm just being conservative, they won't be 10, there will be a million things. Okay, let's say there are 10 topmost things. Out of the 10 topmost things, the first one is the most urgent want, and that is what is going to decide one's next birth. It's not the last desire. They say the last desire is the one that is going to decide the next birth. No. It is not the last desire. What is it? It is the strongest desire. Strongest desire. That's why if Vedanta is the strongest desire, then that will alone come true. You will have to have a human body. You will have to be born in a place where Vedanta is taught. You will have to have the desire to study. All this comes. And explaining this, Pujya Swamiji did something very beautiful. And one time I was traveling with him from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. And then this was soon after this, what is that called? 911. 911 had just been there, and so there was so much security everywhere, police, everywhere they were checking. 100 times we were checked. And we got late. So Swamiji said, perhaps we will miss this flight. I don't think we can make it. Let's see. So we were standing in line, which was like a big anaconda snake, unending snaking line, all from the line went even out of the airport. It was such a long line, and somewhere in the middle we were. And suddenly one person came with a board. Ahmedabad, 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 come this side, come with me. Happily we left this long line and followed him where the line was really short. No more screening, no more checks, nothing. We were put on a bus and taken straight to the flight, and then we were made to board the flight. Pujya Swamiji this whole time was uncharacteristically quiet, silent. And I kept thinking, what could he be thinking? I would love to know what he's thinking. I was thinking like that. Then we got down in Ahmedabad, and then immediately, the flight was of course a little late, and then immediately we had to go to the place where he had to give a talk. And then he said that this is how he began the talk, that between one birth and another birth, there is so many hits and misses, because the strongest desire decides the next birth. And if moksha is the strongest desire, you will be standing in the general line, and Lord Yama will be slowing everything down. Then somebody will come with a board, moksha, 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 join me. And then you are taken away, given a human birth, and the rest all follows. That was Pujya Swamiji. Even a flight delay, his mind used to be working how to make this a very apt example to be easily able to swallow this. He was like a mother bird, a father bird that would just chew up the Shastra, make it very palatable, and all we had to do was swallow. He would just put it in, need not bite, need not do anything, need not peel, need not, take away the seeds, nothing. It was all done, filtered, pure Shastra. Swaha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.